Alright, we've got the supplies here, the inventory. Got our little register here, change for customers. I tested the product as long, and so did he. Figuring out some of the numbers, running some numbers, doing some projections. We got our signage here. Only one small problem. It's pouring down rain now. Look at that. Look at this little entrepreneur here. First sign got rained out. We're here with the backup sign now. What kind of numbers we looking at here?
We don't know yet.
All right. I'm gonna get 2 apple ciders, please. This is how you teach entrepreneurship in the real world. Go out and hustle. Wave, smile. Learn about upsells. Get rained out. When the rain stops pouring, go back out again. Just gonna learn more about business in the next 2 hours than most people do in a whole college class on it. It's been over a month since Hurricane Irma. Look at this still. My morning run, I don't think so. Sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Do you see anybody on the beach? This way. Do you see anybody on the beach this way? No. Here's why. Can you hear this wind right now? I love it. You know, it feels like we spend a lot of time together in my car. I guess that's when I have little pockets of time to do things like this. I'm on my way to go speak at an event. I get asked to talk to entrepreneurs fairly often, so it being the 4th quarter, they brought me in to speak to a room full of entrepreneurs, and I'm going to talk about a few different ways to plan a game-changing year. Thank you guys for coming to this. I'll tell you a little bit of my story and the lessons that I've learned in my journey as an entrepreneur. One of the main things I said was, we'll blow up your documents really big, we'll blow up your photos, you know, for the case really big, we'll blow up these illustrations really big. Only one problem, I don't have the money to blow anything up really big. So what I did was, I would go to, back then it was called Kinko's, you know, which is not FedEx office, and I would give them the stuff, and I'd drop it off at 11 at night, and I'd say, I don't care what time it is, when this is done, I want you to call me on this number, my cell number, right? And I'll come and get it. I don't care how late or how early, because I need time to make sure it's done right and get it to my client in the morning. And so I would give them I drive from downtown 25 minutes to the 24-hour Kinko's, midnight. I give them my phone number. I drive 25 minutes back to my apartment, 1 in the morning, and I lay on my bed I keep all my clothes on, sometimes even my shoes. And I held my phone on my chest like this. Because the call mattered so much to me. I didn't want to sleep through it. I wanted to get it, and I didn't want to miss that. And I'd hear it ring, be 3:45 in the morning, whatever, get my keys, drive 25 minutes back, get my stuff, go in the parking lot, take the Kinko's bags off, put the Legal Artworks bag on. We continue to grow. This is by 2012. We had law firm clients in every one of these states that you see colored in green. I was tired, I was burnt out. I was exhausted, stressed out. The business was running me. I was just exhausted from being up all night, putting out fires all day long, kind of flying by the seat of my pants, and with all the accolades, I wasn't happy, and I was really just tired. So I ended up doing something. I ended up going here. This is the Ritz-Carlton in Amelia Island. So I didn't get a room, I didn't buy a sandwich, I just parked myself in this Ritz-Carlton like a boss. And I just had a pad of paper and a pen. And I sat there resolved to figure this stuff out and plan out the kind of year that I wanted to have. Over the next few years, my business changed, my life changed dramatically in a good way. And all these things that in hindsight, I figured out that came from it are what I'm going to share with you right now. So the first thing was to plan a game-changing year. You have to physically disconnect and go somewhere. If you try to do it at your desk, it won't happen. People will pop in. Hey, got a minute? Get a phone call, check an email. All those things are distractions, and you will not be able to plan the kind of year you want if you do not physically remove yourself from any chance of that happening. Make sense? Number 2, we're busy doing what we do, making what we make, selling what we sell, and it's hard enough to think about what you're going to do 3 hours from now, let alone 3 days from now, 3 weeks from now, or 3 months from now. But you need to look at the entire year from 30,000 feet up. Number 3, factor in the lifestyle before the business ideas. So here's what I mean by that. Most of the time, all of the thinking and planning goes into the business, right? The business will dictate the lifestyle. So you either suck it up and it is what it is, or you build it the way you want it. And so most people have not really thought about, what do I want? What's going to make me happy? What are my rules for my life to live the best possible life I can live? And then you reverse engineer the business through those rules. Does that make sense? Number 4, be specific with strategies, tactics, and deadlines. And so a lot of times you have a general idea. First of all, it never leaves your head. It's just kind of a thing you're thinking you want to do. It's never really put down on paper. Or it's just a generalization. It's sort of like a, sometimes, especially the younger people, like, I want to be rich. All right, awesome. What does that mean? How many dollars is that? By what date is that going to happen? We want our company to be, doing X amount a month. Okay, awesome. By what date will that happen? And some people usually get a little step further and they'll say, a year from now. Or here's what we want by 2 years from now. Here's what we want 6 months from now. Problem with that is it's treadmill, right? You tell me you're going to hit a certain number in 1 year, I'll bet you if I run into you at a store 3 months from now, you're still telling people you're going to hit this number in a year. But it's actually 9 months now. When you have an actual date, April 15th, 2018. Holy crap. Number 5, get outside perspective and accountability to carry out the execution of the plan. Now, there is no explaining our indifference to ourselves. We will set a goal for ourselves, but, we get busy, or you're doing this, and I didn't really tell anybody I was going to do that, so I can push that off. put this on your calendar, cross it out, write it on tomorrow's calendar, write it on tomorrow's calendar, write it on tomorrow's calendar. I don't need it. Gone. Anybody ever done that before? No? Right? So find somebody, we all have, by the way. Get somebody who's not afraid to call you out, to hold you accountable, to do what you say you're going to do. We have these 12 Mavens groups where it's all business owners, CEOs, entrepreneurs that meet together every single month, and we hold each other accountable every month. So when somebody's telling everybody what they're going to do, all right, I'm going to hire a CFO, or I'm going to fire that sales guy. It's time. We say before the meeting, what are you going to do by the next meeting? And then there's that accountability. So you need somebody that can hold you to it. I literally applied those 5 things that I just gave you, and I went from working 80 hours a week down to a 40-hour work week where I actually could leave at 5:30 and go have dinner with my family. What a novel concept. And then I decided, you know what, I got so much out of that day, sitting there in Amelia Island, what if I did that every Friday? Or what if I did that one Friday a month? And then I did. And I said, what if I did that every Friday? And then I did. And I said, what if I just don't even work on Friday? And then I did that. And then I remember the day I did all these things and I implemented plans and processes to execute all these ideas, right? Not just ideas. And I said, and it started to work, and I started to get the business to where it could run without me. And I remember gathering my staff in the conference room to tell them that I will now be coming in 1 day a week. These were taken on weekdays, I think, most of these pictures. Took my wife to lunch in Tuscany and Paris and rolling our bikes in the south of France. Entrepreneurship, there are obligations and there are privileges. And what happens is, if you're doing it right in the first few years, the obligations will outweigh the privileges. You have to work hard. You have to work your face off to get from 0 to 1. But the goal is, after a few years, you should be able to enjoy the privileges that come with the obligations. But so we created a day where entrepreneurs could just disconnect from all the in the business stuff and think about all these things and put it on paper and just do the hardest thing for an entrepreneur to do: sit still. But I want to open it up. I want to say thank you guys for listening and for coming into this room, and I want to open it up to any questions that you guys have. Yes?
This is not a paid endorsement, but I'd like to say, if you all haven't done Plan Your Tap, it is an awesome event. I've done it almost every year.
Well, thank you, Tom, for doing that. And I just PayPal'd the money over to you. You should see that.
I promise you didn't know I was going to say that.
But thank you for that. What's up, man?
Hey, how are you?
And so, is there any last questions? Yes.
So it sounds like it's intentional. It's a mindset, kind of like Sir Richard Branson. I kind of see him in you.
Well,
it's what Branson does. No matter Virgin this, Virgin that. It's all.
There's a lesson.
150 companies.
He's got, I think, over 500 now.
Okay, well.
And I'll end it with this. If you own a business and you feel like you can barely fit it all in a day, keep in mind he owns 500 businesses and he doesn't have 500 times the amount of hours. So then it's not the amount of time. If you say you don't have the time, it's not the time. It's the systems, it's the processes, it's the planning, it's the execution, it's the outsourcing, delegating, automating, streamlining, all of that stuff, right? Awesome, thanks for asking, and thank you guys. Just go, do everything you can, do your best, give all that you have. When you feel the pressure and the resistance and the challenges and the setbacks, just keep pushing.